So, for those of you who joined me for the free talk last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. But anyway, we had a blank wall behind me. And now we have something else. And I'm just going to move so you get a chance to have a look at what it is. And I won't go into a lot of detail except to tell you that this is what the Buddhists call a thangka. And it's a painting that's sewn into some beautiful silk material. And it came to me in the most extraordinary way, which I won't go into because we don't have time. But I want to tell you who that little Buddha in the middle is. It's Shenrezig, who is the Dalai Lama's Buddha. In fact, the Dalai Lama is considered to be the reincarnation of this Buddha of great compassion. It's the Buddha of compassion. And that gold disc that you see is actually black and in tiny print all the way around, about a zillion times, is written a chant, Om Mani Padme Hum, which is the most famous Buddhist chant. And it's said that this chant, Om Mani Padme Hum, has all of the Buddha's teachings in it. So we have this extraordinary piece with us. And the energy of this thing is something else. What I love about it is that although I don't identify myself as a Buddhist, our practice, this practice of Qigong, wisdom healing Qigong, is based on Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and quantum physics. That's what Dr. Pang, who put together this form, created. He created this out of all of those traditions, which he studied extensively. He was recognized as a genius when he was a child and became a doctor of medicine, both Western medicine and traditional Chinese medicine, which he actually gave up in the end because he realized that he could do more for the world through the Qigong. So, which I believe, and many of us do, is in fact the medicine of the future, energy medicine. Because that's what we are. We're made of energy. And we're going through a huge shift right now, a huge transition from, I mean, it's as big as when the planet went through the transition of learning that the world was in fact not flat. It was round. And that we weren't the center of this galaxy, the sun was. This shift that we're going to go through, I mean, we are going through, really, correction there, we are going through it right now, is just as big as that. And it's a revolution. And it's a revolution of consciousness, basically. Because what's happening is that the new science is showing that the foundational building blocks of the universe are not consisting of matter, which is what we've believed up until now. And I emphasize the word believe. Deepak Chopra calls it the superstition of materialism, because truly it was a superstition. No scientist has ever found evidence of matter. And in fact, when we look at matter under very, very high telescopes, what we find is a lot of jiggles. It's all energy. It's not solid. And they keep finding smaller and smaller and smaller units. And then they find that's not solid either. So if we want to make shifts and changes in our lives, both in our personal lives, in our physical, emotional, mental lives, but also in our culture, the best way to do that is to go to the source and make shifts in consciousness. And that's what we do with Qigong. That is the extraordinary thing about this practice. It isn't just helping you to heal your physical body or your emotions, or even the mental stuff that goes on and gets out of whack. It's so much more than that. it actually opens you up beyond what we, most of us, certainly myself, thought of as our identities. This little me that was separate, that was alone, essentially, and disconnected. That's what many of us, were brought up to think that we were. We believed we were our personalities. And what we're finding now is that we are so much more magnificent than that. It's not that we don't have personalities. Of course we do. But there's something bigger. There is this consciousness, and you can experience it. That's the beauty of Qigong. It's not just knowledge of all of this as concepts, which you can read about in lots of wonderful books now, and I do. I love reading about this stuff. But through Qigong, we actually get to experience our awareness of our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations in particular. We're very focused on the body. And so we actually have the experience of experiencing all of this and yet knowing ourselves as beyond all of that. We are the awareness that is experiencing it all. So we don't get so lost in it. So I don't want to talk for too long this time, because I talked for a good half an hour last time. I want to make sure that you all have a chance to answer, to get your questions answered, because this is what this meeting is really about. And before we do that, I do want to take us into a practice, which is the practice that we will be doing really before we do any other practices in Qigong. We do this practice, which is called organizing the Qi field. And basically, you're organizing your energy. You're opening yourself up to the energy of the entire universe. It's really, we already really are connected to the energy of the whole universe, but we don't know it. Most of us just don't know it. And so we talk about it, we talk it through as we do it, but we experience the opening of our energy fields out into the energy field of all that is. And we will experience, what happens is you will begin to feel, when you do this practice, more relaxed. And you begin to feel the qualities that come with that relaxation into the energy of all that is. And it's hard to really put words to all of this, but the nearest thing that those of us who've done this practice can come to is you feel peace, you feel joy, and you feel love. But that's all really almost the same thing. It's this enormous radical openness. And that's what love really is. It's just when you're completely open. I'm talking about unconditional love. I'm not talking about the personal sort of love that you have for your puppy or your loved ones, which is very personalized. This is unconditional love, which is just unconditional openness. And you feel this deep peace and this inner joy, which is independent of the circumstances of your life. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So let's do that practice together and have a taste of that. And then we'll open up for questions that you have about the course, which starts next Saturday. So I'm hoping that some of you would like to join us. We have a lot of people. We have 80 people signed up already and still coming in. So it's going to be a very powerful Qi field. And I've never felt anything like this building, maybe because I'm putting this together, but boy, it is amazing. And I'm very excited for all of us where we can go with this. Okay, so relax back, my dears, and you can close your eyes and I'm going to guide you. There's nothing to do except for feel very relaxed. If you want to lie down and you can easily, do so, or just sit back and allow yourself to begin to relax. Closing your eyes and bringing your awareness inside. And let's breathe together. Taking a deep breath in and a long exhale out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Noticing the body beginning to soften. And let's go through the body, relaxing it. Beginning at the top of the head. And just feel this relaxation flowing down your face. Relaxing the facial muscles. Relaxing your jaw. Feeling the back of the head softening. And that relaxation flowing down your neck, the back of your neck. Relaxing your throat. Relaxation flowing into your shoulders. Down your arms, into your hands and fingers. Feeling your chest open and relaxed. Your upper back relaxing down. The lower back relaxing down. The abdomen softening and relaxing. And feeling that relaxation flowing now down your thighs, through your knees, lower legs, into your feet and toes. You're deeply relaxed. And feeling your feet, feeling the soles of your feet. You have gates. We call them the earth gates. Just imagine playfully that they're opening up. And now take your mind down. Where the mind goes, the energy follows. So taking your mind down, expanding your energy field down, down, into the earth beneath you, into all that abundant energy of Mother Earth, merging with that pure life force, that vitality, that aliveness, and drawing it up, using your mind to lead the way up into your feet, feeling your feet, feeling the aliveness, coming up into your ankles, into your lower legs, up into your knees, into your thighs, up into your pelvis, and rising up through the lower torso and the upper torso, up through the neck, up into the head, into the brain, that aliveness, awakening all the brain cells. Feeling the heavenly gate, imagine it playfully at the top of your head like a skylight opening up. And your mind leading the way up above you, sensing the space above you, and now expanding that space. Mind leading the way up through the ceiling, up into the sky, up into space and continuing to expand beyond space and beyond time into the infinite, formless, invisible potential of the universe, into the source of all of creation, and drawing down that pure energy coming down, down through space, down through the sky, down through the roof, down into the top of your head, into your brain, filling your brain with pure potential, filling your whole head with infinite possibility, and pouring that energy down now through your throat and neck, down into your shoulders, down through your whole torso, down your arms, into your hands, down your legs, into your feet, feeling that spaciousness of energy, pure energy inside you, this energy, unconditioned, pure potential. And now moving to the front of your body with your mind, feeling the front of your body softening, opening, and expanding forward, moving your mind out beyond the room, expanding your energy body out. Continue to expand all through the landscape, through nature, out into the horizon, in front of you, and beyond, into the infinite. Feeling your body behind you, softening, opening, and expanding, and moving your mind beyond the walls, far out into the distance behind you, into the horizon, and beyond, into the source of all of existence. Feeling the left side of your body softening, opening, and expanding out through the landscape, through nature, into the horizon, and beyond. And feeling the right side of your body softening, opening, and expanding beyond the walls, expanding out further and further, your mind leading the way into the horizon and beyond. And drawing back from all directions, drawing back your mind, drawing back the transformative energy of the universe, the pure chi, unconditioned, coming back inside you into all the conditioning inside of you that no longer serves you, dissolving it, melting it, feeling the harmonizing of your energy inside, feeling the peace inside, awakening, the innate peace that's within all the old conditioning, all the old patterns, all the old programming has within it this pristine, pure chi, pure energy. It's who we truly are. Feel it awakening. And feel into your heart center, into the energy in your chest. Finding your deepest intention to awaken to your essence, to your true nature, unconditional love, harmonizing all aspects of your being. And imagine yourself, bring an image up of yourself happy, radiantly happy, and vitally healthy, and completely fulfilled. Just playfully place that image of yourself in your heart center. Setting your intention for this practice and for your life. To be happy, healthy, and whole. To awaken that wholeness that's already in you fully. And realize your potential. Feel all our hearts connecting with each other. Our mutual intention creating a powerful healing chi field as we all awaken and heal together. Contributing to the awakening and the healing of all of humanity. So gently opening your eyes, and with your eyes open, still feel inside you that spaciousness. See if you can still feel it, sense it, even with your eyes open. Because this is where we want to go with these practices. We want to feel that peace and that deliciousness of pure chi while we practice, but we want to start bringing that into our lives. So there isn't a difference between practice and daily life. Okay, so Stephanie, if we could open up the lines, if you could tell people how they can raise their hand.
Okay. If you go under participants and open up that on the left sidebar, you'll see down at the bottom of the panel where you can raise your hand. And if you raise your hand, I'll see it and I can unmute you. So anybody whose hand's raised, I'll be able to see it. Johanna's hand and Philippa. Okay, hands are going up. Johanna was first, and you're unmuted, Johanna.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Joanna.
Great, hi. I wanted to know, for somebody who's dealing with chronic Lyme and other conditions and is dealing with extreme exhaustion and depression and just kind of at the bottom, how do you get the motivation and the energy to actually do these practices?
Very good question. And I can absolutely answer it because that's where I was 10 years ago. I had chronic Lyme. I was so depressed and I had no energy. I could not stand for more than 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I couldn't stand, basically. I had to sit or lie down all the time. And, you know, you start where you are. And what I heard, this really helped me, actually. I heard Ming Tong, my teacher, say that it was visualization. It was what you were doing with your mind that was critical. And that helped me enormously because I realized, oh, so if that's the most important thing, then if I lie down and I visualize, I imagine myself doing these practices, it's going to really benefit me. And it did. I did that for 2 weeks, you know, for several hours a day. For 2 weeks, what I did was we didn't have all this technology in those days. We had a video, and I'd watch this video. And what I didn't know about mirror neurons at that time, we have these mirror neurons in our brains, in our bodies, which are able to see something, and our bodies energetically are responding to it as though it is happening to us. This is why I'm caution people about going to violent movies. Not a good idea. But this is the upside of it all, is that you will receive tremendous benefit just watching the practices. Then another thing you can do is once you've watched the practices and you know enough about how the movements are going, even though you're not making the movements, you're watching them. Then you start to remember how they go, like the one we just did with the lifting up the hands and then pouring the chi down through us. You can start to just imagine that. You don't have to be watching it. You can close your eyes and you imagine it. So, and you're being guided by the person guiding the practices. In this case, it's me. So that's the way we start, Joanna. And what's really it happens quite fast, is that you'll notice that if you really do that on a daily basis, then you'll start to have a little more energy. And then you can start doing a little bit of practice. One of the practices that we're going to be doing, and we will be doing it on Saturday, and I'll be spending quite a long time on this because I think it's so important, is sound healing. And we do that lying down. And we're making these particular sounds, 3 for each organ system. And they harmonize how these incredible grandmasters thousands of years ago figured out these sounds. I mean, I guess they experimented, but they are extraordinary because they're very, very precise. And they actually shift and harmonize the energy in the organs. And this is so important because when our organs are out of balance, we feel negative emotions. Like if the kidneys are out of balance, we feel fear. If our liver's out of balance, we feel anger. If our digestive system's out of balance, we feel nervous and anxious. So when we harmonize these organ systems within themselves and with each other, we start to feel, first of all, we feel relaxed. That's what all of this does for you. It's deeply relaxing. And then we feel joy and we feel equanimity and compassion and courage. Those are all the arising emotions that come out of this practice of harmonizing the organs. And we'll be spending a lot of time doing that in the first session because those people with chronic illness, of course we're depressed. We've been sick for a long time. We don't have a life anymore. It affects everything, your relationships, your work, your play. It affects your whole life. So it's very important to do some emotional healing, first of all. And when we've got that going, then we can start to really work on the physical. Actually, the physical will start to feel better because you have this energy inside of you, a positivity, and your physical body responds to that. It's almost like your cells get happy, your cells get courageous, your cells feel peaceful. And that allows the energy to flow freely through your body, and you start to have physical energy and things start to resolve. So that's how we will go. That's how we will proceed during the course, Joanna.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Philippa.
Hi. I'm unmuted.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Philippa.
Hi. I think you might have answered my question, but anyway, I'll go ahead. It's slightly different. When one's moving around, not doing practice, and you're actually up and you're well enough to go around and doing things, and then you're suddenly emotions come in that are very difficult to control, and you're like, oh, all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best thing to do with them when you're actually, out and about or with people? And
now, are you talking about emotions that come up during practice?
No, not during practice. And when you're not doing practice, when you're moving around and you're with people, and those people don't, are in a different sort of lifestyle maybe, and things are happening. And to give you the example, I think that I've had my illness for the whole of my life, since I was very, very small. So I have this thing that I suddenly disappear because I'm not well. So I manage it by disappearing. Mm-hmm. So then when I come out again, and then I have this sort of victim thing of, oh, I want people to understand. Oh my gosh, how can I explain? I wasn't there. I didn't do whatever it was. I wasn't up to anything. I just disappeared. And then I pop off again. Mm-hmm. So that could be one sort of a feeling. And from there, there's all kinds of awful things that come up of, I find that uncontrollable feelings of shame or guilt or whatever it happens to be, fear, etc. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Shame is a especially difficult one. And I had it in shitloads.
I had it in shitloads too.
So I really understand that. Honestly, Philippa, the thing that's helped me the most with this, I think, it's understanding it's just energy.
Yeah.
It's just energy. When you're feeling that shame and guilt, for instance, or fear, those are very difficult to, remember, oh, it's just energy. But if you get into the pattern of, as soon as it starts to arise, just go, oh, this is energy that's got programmed in a certain way. And you, sweetie, are not personally responsible for the way it got programmed. Now, I really want you to hear this, because I know for myself, I kept thinking it's my fault. It's my fault. I did something wrong. I was bad. All these stories we tell ourselves, when in fact that programming came from very early childhood or before that. Because what we're discovering now is that we are literally living out the traumas and the stresses of our ancestors.
Yeah.
Now, when you really understand that, when you really understand that things that were not resolved in your ancestors, the people in your lineages, when they weren't resolved, they get passed down to their biological lineage. I mean, it's just extraordinary what they're discovering now. So you absolutely can't take responsibility, nor can you take responsibility for the programming of early childhood. Between the moment you're conceived until you're about 6 to 8 years old, you are in a state of hypnosis. It's exactly the same state. Your brain has not developed completely, and it's in the state of hypnosis. So everything that's happening, all the experiences that are happening, get programmed into your unconscious. You have no control over that, you know? Now, where you do have some control is if you start doing these practices, they work on the unconscious. I absolutely can tell you this is true, because I have suddenly realized that these old habitual patterns of mine, like the shame, for instance, which was so ingrained in me. I thought, you know, oh, well, I might be able to get well physically, but I'm never going to be able to deal with that because it's just so ingrained. I didn't even notice when it left. You know, I just suddenly went, I don't go into shame anymore. I mean, you know, every now and then, maybe a little tinge, but nothing like what I used to. I mean, we're all works in progress. I mean, the truth is that healing is not a destination, it's a journey. And we're on it for the rest of our lives because there'll always be more challenges that come in our lives. But you will be able to meet them so much more confidently. That's what happens. Confidence begins to build up because you have a very serious toolbox.
Can I just ask also what you're saying? This illness has been all the way through the generations of my family.
Wow.
And now it's passed on to my daughter, one of my daughters only, and her youngest son. So that's the goal, is to go right the way through. If one manages to do it on oneself,
yes,
therefore it would go through to my daughter, my son, and future, my grandson, future, and backwards.
I'm getting goosebumps. That's exactly what happens. I know it sounds completely miraculous, but in fact, this planet is, I mean, this planet, this life, this consciousness that we are is miraculous. I mean, I think it was Einstein said, either you accept that all of life is a miracle or it's not. Or I can't remember. That's not exactly the right quote. But what he was saying is, it is miraculous. And the more you find out about how this all works, the more absolutely awed you become. Yes, Philippa, if you do this work, this is what's so exciting about this work. It's not just for yourself. You're doing it for the future generations and the past ones.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Isn't that wonderful?
Goosebumps.
I mean, what could give you more fulfillment in life? You know, I talk about when we're setting the chi field, feeling yourself fulfilled. What could be more fulfilling than that?
Thank you.
It's great to see you, sweetie.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it, exactly.
Flay next, and Lena will be after Flay. Flay, you're unmuted.
Thank you.
Hey, hi.
Hi. Oh, I have a question. I'm working with some chronic pain that comes and goes, and right now it's really strong. And I find that when I do the practice, or actually when you said we're going to do setting the chi field, I thought, oh no, because it's really difficult for me to even to stay still that long when I'm in pain like I'm in right now.
Mm.
And the pain is so loud
Mm-hmm.
that it's difficult to even allow the expansiveness to happen, because the pain is like a pinpoint that brings it all back. So my question is, what is the best way to be with pain when it's very bright? It's extremely bright and hot, and yeah, and allow it, you know, give it space when that's sort of the last thing I want to do.
I hear you. I heard you say that when you heard me say we're going to organize the chi field, you sort of went, oh no. So I want you to notice, Flay, those times when you are causing contraction with your mind. Like when you said, oh no to yourself, that would have caused more contraction and that will create more pain. So I think that if you start to notice how your mind is programmed, you know, this is not your fault, you know, this is the way we all are, is programmed. I mean, we're programmed to look for pain, to look for danger, to look for the challenges. It's the programming we got from our ancestors, from the billions of years of evolution. That programming has come down to look for danger, and it served life when it first began very well. But there isn't a tiger jumping out at us anymore. So we really need to start to work with that old programming and basically deprogram it. That's what this is. This is an undoing that we're doing here. So I think, Flay, just really watch throughout the day. I think this is your practice. When am I contributing to the contraction of my body with the thoughts that I'm having? And start to really notice if there's a pattern, because there inevitably will be. There'll be patterns, you know, certain things that will trigger you, certain habits that you have developed with how you think, and really start to track them. You know, use your journal and write down in the evening or when they happen. Just write them down and then notice at the end of a week, okay, look how many times I went into that. So that's a pattern that I need to really set my intention to dissolve. I think that's going to start to help the pain level come down a bit. And take it in small bites, sweetie. You know, if it's too much to do the whole thing, just say, I'm going to listen to the first 2 minutes and really see if I can stay with it. And then if it gets too much, I'm just going to turn the sound off or whatever. You know, we have to start with, I've really learned this through this practice. I just got a stationary bike because after I fell and broke my hip, I didn't exercise very much and my thighs became really weak, weren't that strong, even though I do squats. I noticed when I went biking with my family last summer, I was lagging behind them all and I didn't like that. So I got this stationary bike, and you know, all I could do, it was embarrassing, I'm going to admit it to you all I could do was 30 seconds, you know, and then my legs were like, oh my God. So every day I'd get on and do my 30 seconds, and then it was 45, and then it was a minute, and I'm up to 20 minutes now. And that's within a few weeks, you know. So that's an example of something else other than Qigong, but you know, it's the same principle. You've got to start where you are, and don't berate yourself for where you are. Don't blame yourself. Really come to acceptance. This is where I am. It's not my fault that this is where I am, but this is where I am. This is where I'm starting. And I'm going to treat myself with compassion and love and kindness. That's what Shenrezi is all about. He's the Buddha of great compassion. And how you really start is give that compassion to yourself.
Thank you. It's so good to hear that over and over and over again, that it's not my fault.
I know.
I think all of us who deal with pain or any kind of illness, the first place we go to is shame.
That's right. That's right. I'm so glad you're beginning to get that, Flay. Good for you. You're on your way. So who do we have next?
Next, we have Lena. And Vivi, if you could repeat the question.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So Lena, hi, sweetie. Are you still in India?
I am.
Oh my goodness, we have India. Oh, wonderful, Lena. How great to see you. So tell me your question and I will repeat it.
My question is that when you're going through intense sensations, what should be the thought process? Because you feel down and you feel, oh, am I getting worse? So what should be the thought process when we're going through intense sensations, as in my case? It's not throughout the day, but sometimes of the day they're very intense. What should be the thought process at that time?
Are you talking about intense sensations when you're practicing or when you're not practicing?
When I'm not practicing.
When you're not practicing.
It depends on the time of the day. If I'm practicing during that time when I have the sensation, even when I'm not practicing, I may have the sensations. What should be the thought process?
When you're practicing, or frankly, if you're doing a lot of Qigong, and I think you are doing quite a bit, I know you have a strong daily practice, you know, your body mind is going to go through some big changes because you're on the road to healing, and it is not a straight kind of road like that. It isn't. I hate to disillusion anyone, but I think we should be honest. There are going to be ups and downs, and if you are doing a serious practice, serious by serious I mean you are committed to do a practice, and I know you are, Lena. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. I forgot about the question. She's asking about intense sensations when she's practicing and also when she's not practicing, and what to do about them. You know, again, it's about the mind. I find, and I like the way you said it, Lena. You said intense sensations. That's exactly how that's from you. That's where I got the word. Oh, you got those words from me, yes, because that's the way I talk about pain. If you use the word pain, it almost immediately activates what we collectively, culturally have thought of as pain, which is unpleasant. If you say intense sensation, there's a neutrality to that. There's an acknowledgement. Actually, that's what it is. It's very intense sensation. And so immediately you are, by saying that and by thinking that and by acknowledging and not having a story attached to it. Oh, this is because I had this happen and then the operation and you're going into a big story in your mind. If you don't do that, if you stay away from the story and you just notice, oh, this is intense sensation, intense feeling. I'm feeling intense. You're not denying what's going on, but you're also not embellishing it with thoughts, and you're not programming yourself either. You're just acknowledging what is. And that should start to create, hopefully it'll start to create a little bit more spaciousness around the sensations. But Lena, you are doing a lot of Qigong, and you are going to go through some times where intense sensations come up. Not necessarily, but it sounds like that's what's happening with you. And
That's
for
okay.
all of us, it's different things, you know. The chi is moving through you. It is moving into those blocked places. And before they completely unblock and the chi is flowing freely, which is what happens when we're healthy, chi is flowing freely throughout our whole being on the physical, emotional, mental levels. But before that happens, when the fresh chi meets the block, so to speak, there can be some discomfort. It could be pain, it could be feelings of nausea, it could be emotional things come up. And the way to do it, especially if you're doing a Qigong practice, is to tell yourself the truth, which is, this is uncomfortable, but it's taking me to a new level of health, because it is. And if you remind yourself of that, it'll help your body to start to relax. And what we want to do here, and the whole course is going to be very, very focused on this, we want to relax. We can't open until we relax. And this is all about opening up all the old programming, so that the essence of who we are, the absolute magnificence and beauty of who we are, can be revealed.
Thank you so much, Vivienne. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, honey. It's great to see you.
There are no more hands raised, Vivi.
Oh, well, oh gosh, and we're almost at the end. Wow, that went by awfully fast. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me just see if there's anything I wanted to add. I guess what's been coming up in these questions, you know, I just will speak for myself, and because I hear so much of my own experience in what some of you are describing. But I really felt a victim. I grew up just feeling that life had been very difficult in, you know, it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just things that had happened that were so challenging for a young child to deal with. And I felt a victim of life. And if I asked myself that question, is the universe a friendly place or not? I would have always answered it no, if I'd been honest. And a lot of the time I wasn't honest. I used to cover up and pretend to be happy because I thought that's the way everybody wanted me to be. And I was trying so hard to fit in and be a good girl. I believed I was a bad girl. And what this practice has brought into my life is a complete shift from, I'm not even sure I consciously felt that I was a victim, but looking back, I definitely did, to being a creator. It's given me the confidence to know that I am responsible for my life. And I can take that responsibility and I can make things happen. Not make things happen with my little me personality. I don't mean that kind of make things happen, which, you know, is kind of rather new agey, when, you know, you can manifest anything you want, like a new car and a new house, etc. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you connect with the energy of the universe and recognize that's actually what you are, that you are the awareness of all your experiences, which is undamageable, which is infinite, which was never born and never dies. When you really start to not only understand that as a concept, but feel that through the practices that we do, then you become a creator. you're creating with the universe. You're setting your intention and you're saying to the universe, which is really you're saying to the universe, this is what I'm intending right now. This is what I'm intending. And then you give it over to the universe, because you don't know how things should happen. You don't need to know. You don't need to figure it out. How's it all going to happen? You don't need to know that. In fact, one of my teachers, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about expect the unexpected. In other words, don't have expectations. But if you're going to have expectations, it'll all come about in ways that you have no idea of how it's going to happen. You know, when I got Lyme again at the beginning of this year, my second bout with Lyme, and 10 days later fell and broke my hip and ended up in hospital having a total hip replacement, I thought, wow. I mean, I knew enough that when you have these huge challenges, there's a great gift coming. You may not immediately see it, but I knew that it would bring something magnificent into my life. And what it did was it gave me this, it's almost like a volcano inside of me, this impulse, this absolute determination and recognition that I couldn't sit back on my laurels and just, you know, teach a class once a week and go and help Ming Tong at his retreats when he asked me to, that I really needed to put myself out there and share this technology with other people. And I wouldn't be doing this course if it wasn't for all those things that happened to me at the beginning of the year. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful it all happened that way, because here I am, no longer have Lyme. My hip's doing just great. Dance around together. And we're doing this course. And it's just the beginning. I'm now completely committed to really putting this out in the world, helping Ming Tong with his vision in a much bigger way. So I think that's it, my dears. We've gone a few minutes past.
Vivi, we have a question in the Zoom chat from Joanna, which is, will there be a Facebook group or some other way for those of us in the class to interact with each other if we wish? I identify so much with what other people have asked. And Kathleen says, great idea.
Well, we should get that going. Unfortunately, I don't do Facebook. But Stephanie, I think you do, don't you?
I do. I would like, and I can help with this. I'd like, if there's someone who's on now who'd like to really get behind this and take ownership of it with me, that we can make it happen.
Okay, then what I think we should do is we should put this out to everybody who signs up for the course. Mm-hmm. That they will have a Facebook, and we need people to volunteer to help. Oh, here's Kelly saying she'll help. Oh, Kelly, thank you, sweetheart.
And Kathleen. All right.
Kathleen. Okay, so it's going to happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely make that part of the program. You know, this program is in development. This is the first one. This is the pilot. And your ideas and what you want is going to be taken very seriously. So, you know, we're going to create this together. We're going to heal together and create these courses together. Mm-hmm. So, my dears, please, if you haven't already and want to sign up by Tuesday, I'm cutting off the sign-up date on Tuesday because I won't be around to take more people after that. So if you want to do the course, I'd really appreciate it if you get it in by Tuesday. Okay? And don't forget, you can pay what you want. I don't want people to feel in any way stressed about the money. You can just pay what you want. This is about including everybody. Very important to me. So
thank you for your comment.
Have a beautiful day, everyone, and a beautiful weekend. And I hope to see you next Saturday. I love you all. Mwah.
Thank you, Vivi. Love you guys.